Welcome to another episode of Soul Filling, where you get your soul fed. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Jasmine.
And I'm Kobe.
Welcome to another episode of... Sorry, let's start over. And I wasn't recording. Hold on, soulmates. And record to the cloud. Okay. Welcome to another episode of Soul Filling, where you get your soul fed. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Jasmine.
And I'm Kobe.
And today we are talking about self-sabotaging. Do you know what it is? Are you doing it? And how can we fix it? Okay. But before we get into that, we got to get into what fed our soul this week. So ladies, please give me some good news. Let me know what fed your soul this week. Who wants to go first?
So I had to do a lesson this week, just talking about challenges to the kids. And during that, I had a little game planned, and basically it was like a guess who game. So I stated some facts about Oprah, stated some facts about Michael Jordan. They had to guess who it was. And then at the end of it, I was just letting them know, like, you know, these two people, what do they have in common? They've both been through some challenges and they've overcome it, but they still were successful. So with that too, it just had me thinking about time and age and just, you know, I just want people to know that, you know what, like, regardless of what you've been through, you can still be successful. And then also, regardless of your age, even though you might feel like, you know, it's not enough time or time is running out. Like Tom Brady was 43 when he, you know, got his, he accomplished some of his dreams. Oprah was older whenever she got her start. Serena was 39, LeBron is 36. Like, you know, it's never too late for you.
I love that.
That's good. I'll go first. Mine is kind of short and simple. On last Thursday, we always have these department planning meetings every Thursday. And I'm not going to say her name, but one of my supervisors, she's so awesome. She does this thing where we have to do Thankful Thursdays. So every Thursday in our meeting, we tell something that we're thankful for. And so, you know, we go around and everybody's telling us they're thankful. And she said something, she was speaking a whole word. I love her. She was saying, you know, the thing that she was thankful for was, you know, life. And it was very general. And then she got deep and she was like, you know, there will be dark and there will be light. So in the light right now, everything is good. I'm super thankful. But even in the dark, I am going to be even thankful just as well. And then right after I had left the meeting, right after we left the meeting, I was on my way home. I was involved in a car accident. And it was very, very scary. It wasn't my fault. To make a long story short, a car in front of me had stopped. So therefore I stopped. But the guy behind me, I'm looking in my rear view and I'm like, is this car going to slow down? He's still going fast. And speed is not decreasing at all. Speed is like staying the same. And so next thing you know, all I could do is just brace myself like I'm about to get hit. Before I knew it, I'm getting slammed. He hit me so hard that I was on the brakes, like pressing as hard as I could. It jumped my car and made me hit the car in front of me. That's how hard he hit me. And so I was just like, you know, I just screamed like, God, like I was just like, oh, it was just scary as I was bracing myself. And I was just like wondering like why my leg was hurting so badly. And it was because I was trying to keep my foot on the brakes as the car behind me impacted me because he was in a Suburban. I'm in a Liberty Toyota Corolla. And like, had I not been able to hold it on the brakes, I think I really would have been sandwiched between the two cars. And so it was a really scary experience, but I'm just so thankful for life. And although it seemed like it was a dark time, I mean, I really walked away, like being able to walk away. And that's what made it most magical, like if I could say. And it just made me so thankful. It seemed like a dark moment. And although I was without a car, I just got my car back yesterday, well, day before yesterday. It still was like a lot of, and even though circumstances didn't pan out the way I wanted it to, everybody like, you about to get paid. It wasn't none of that because he was uninsured, but it still all worked out. Like I have life, my car is fixed. I'm good and I'm able to walk. I'm doing some physical therapy. I got some little pains, but I'm gonna shake those off. But it just made me think like life, I really need to cherish this thing because yeah, it just happened right before your eyes. I was literally maybe 2 minutes away from my school parking lot. I just drove out of the parking lot on my way home, taking the same route I take every single day. And it's just nothing like that I ever imagined that something like that could happen to me. And so, just being appreciative to life and being appreciative that, greater problems didn't come out of all of that. So I just been super thankful, super, super thankful for life.
That's scary, but we are so thankful that you are, happy and healthy, and yeah.
Thank you.
For real. That sounds crazy. Girl, do I need to fight him? I want to fight him. I do.
Girl, he was like, yeah, I wasn't paying attention. And I'm like, he probably was texting. Had to be.
I'm so thankful that you're here because we need you. The world needs you. I need that investment course to put out. Like, and I need your love. But I'm so happy you're here. That reminded me of something that fed my soul about like 2 weeks ago. There was this guy on YouTube. I think it's his YouTube is called Hindz, HINDZ. Have y'all heard of him? Anyways, he's so cute. He's like, he starts pouring his tea and he's like, okay, today we're gonna talk about blah 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 blah. And the video editing is great. Y'all know I'm here for all that like beautiful videography. I love that stuff. So he's really good at that. But something he was talking about was just the human experience. This wasn't going to be my soul filling thing, but until you said, you're grateful for life, that really kind of like made me think about this. And he was just talking about how, the title of his video was something like how he's like no, I'm not gonna say this how it was something like really clickbaity to be like how he's saying he's stepping away from like spirituality or something like that, but that's not what he was saying because it's gonna sound bad. But what he was just saying is like, so sometimes we're so caught up of being in like in this oh my god, I'm gonna sound crazy, so I kind of want to like edit this out, but I'm gonna tell y'all on YouTube, so I might edit this out. But he was talking about how people get caught up in like crossing realms or like being outside of themselves and things of that nature. When you're really into the consciousness and stuff like that, you're just like having my third eye open and all this other stuff. But he was just saying like, we're here on earth in this body right now for a reason. And so he was just like, being human is special in its own space. So it's just like really love being in our bodies and human and what's on earth. Like when I was in the Grand Canyon, I was just thinking to myself, like, I love it on earth. I know there's this funny song coming around saying on around like the earth is ghetto, like take me from here. But I'm like, when you really think about it, like the earth is very beautiful. It's what we do with it as a human race that really matters. Like we have oceans, we have mountains, snow, rain, like forests and stuff. We just look around and just really think about the human experience, nature, helping each other as a human race, and really I'm not saying don't, if you're into like consciousness and stuff like that and going into other realms or whatever you want to do, but also just don't miss out in just the beauty of what it is to be a human. So that's my soul fed of the week, and it will probably get edited out, but you guys on YouTube know the real me.
No, don't edit that out. I think that's important because a lot of times we trying to ascend and we trying to get all these other places, and this made me think about, I think Robert Kiyosaki said this. He was like, everybody want to go to okay, no offense, like want to go to Africa or want to go to Ukraine or Europe or go somewhere outside of the United States. But he was like, there's so many problems right here at home that we can fix, so to speak. There's so many experiences we can experience right here in your own backyard, that the fact that you don't have to go and travel so abroad to find yourself when you can find it right here where you are. And that made me think on a spiritual level, like we trying to ascend to other planetariums and whatnot, when we can find consciousness. And I think that's what makes the human experience so beautiful, is that, we are able to feel, we are able to touch, we are able to taste, we are able to, have these real tangible moments. I mean, it's beautiful to, ascend as well, but I feel like we shouldn't write off, who we are in our human experience as well. I think God made us humans, just like we're light beings. He made us human beings, and we should utilize being a human as well.
Absolutely.
I totally agree. Like I think about like when we get caught up in this world on Instagram, on social media, right? I think about when I used to play video games as a kid, how it was that was another world for me, getting caught up in the video games. And now you have games on your phone, getting caught up. I see people playing Candy Crush, pool, and whatever games they have, getting caught up in that. And it's like you're living in another world when you're, absorbing and taking in these things. And it's like, it just made me think about that, like really taking in, the moments in the world that's around you and being present in that versus these virtual realities, which leads to our message of, self-sabotaging.
It does. I just want to take it back real quick. Hey, Jazz,
yes.
Remember when we were in high school or something on this girl? We was on this one game where it was like film. You would be up 2-3 o'clock.
Oh my gosh. It was two. One was the one that's on Facebook, or the other one?
I think, I don't know. I don't remember what was on.
The Facebook one too. Yeah, that Facebook game.
That Yoville something.
Yeah. But then you say whole nother world. I think my boyfriend was on or something.
Girl, that had me messed up. I was like, we was going to like a theme park. I think we was about to go to Splash Town or something. And I was like, no, I'm gonna stay here and play my sister was like, I'm about to take this damn computer from you. You is not about to miss out on. I'm like, yo, that game. I was like, no, my people, girl, that was crazy. That was so crazy. But yeah, like games, you are really, I'm glad that you brought that up, Kobe. Like, it's like a whole escape to a whole nother reality. And you think it's harmless, but then even with the Call of Duty, all my guys out there, because it's like you playing with other people. And so it's like, you feel like y'all really on these missions and whatnot, but it's like, okay, you got to reel it back in, and enjoy the people, the things, the experiences around you. Not saying you can't have a little outlet, but yeah, it can get bad if you let it consume you.
That's so true. It's definitely a part of my self-sabotaging. Before we get into it, I was noticing that like when you're on IG, like as a content creator, you could always be like, oh, okay, I'm saving this, I'm saving that, I want to do this, I want to do that. But then you have to really be mindful of that, because once you start seeing people do this, people do that, people do this, you start to think to yourself, oh yeah, I want to do that. Oh, I want to do that. I want this. And it's just like, wait a minute. Let's draw back from people, from what's on your feed telling you how your life should be, and think to yourself, what would my life be off if I didn't see all this on social media? What would I actually want for myself without, this telling me what I should have, And so I was just like, damn, I'm really gonna need to take a step back. So I didn't even think about the technology world, this virtual world that we have really, really taken over.
When I tell you, why we in the same space? Because I was like, I need to go on a hiatus real quick. Because like on my Facebook, I think it's just like, so y'all know I'm into real estate, but now it's like I joined like 50, 11 groups. Now my brain is like over. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm like, just throw the whole app away. I don't even want it. Like, I can't even scroll my feed without seeing, like, what is my people doing? What is the actual, like, what are y'all doing? Like, because I don't see nothing else but buy this house, wholesale this house, but this. I'm like, okay, I just need a break. I need a break from it all. I need to just throw the whole app away. And then it's like I go to another app trying to get an escape. And it's just like, all I see on there is stuff I don't want to see. And so I'm like, yeah, I need a brain break, just a relief from all social media for a little minute so I can just recharge, because it's like, at first you have your plan in mind, and then you see what everybody else doing. He's like, oh, that's a good idea. I can do that too. Oh, that's a good deal. I might need to get in. I need to, oh yeah, that. And I'm like, before I know it, I don't even know which one I want to do. I'm like, yeah, let me just wipe it all out so I can see what God wants me to do. Let me just get recentered, see what my soul says. So yeah. For sure. I was just thinking that I need to cut it for a minute.
Unless you're part of the collective, because that's one of those things. I ran into somebody at the park, and that's the same thing he was saying. It's just like, look, we gotta chill. But back to self-sabotage. Hey, we could do a tangent for everything. But the definition of self-sabotage refers to behaviors or thought patterns that hold you back and prevent you from doing what you want to do. And I'm gonna read that again. Self-sabotage refers to behaviors or thought patterns that hold you back from and prevent you from doing what you want to do. And the reason how this topic came up to my mind is because I was watching a podcast with Sham Booty was in it, and I want to remember the podcast. I think it was called. Oh, the podcast is called Who Can Relate? And she was on there, and they were talking about self-sabotage. And one of the things that stuck out to me is she kind of said that self-sabotage, like, that's like a cool word to say, but it's also kind of like an scapegoat. But she's like, most people who are self-sabotaging are really protectors of their ego. And I was like, ooh, okay. And so it's just like, you won't do something because you're trying to protect yourself. If you fail, what would you say? Or if this relationship fails, am I bad at relationships? Am I bad at love? Or if whatever you do fails, you're really, instead of actually going into your doing something, you self-sabotage by doing nothing, because really you're just trying to protect yourself from getting hurt, protect your ego, protect what you think about yourself, because you ain't never done it, and now you can say all these things. And I was like, dang, I think she's right about it. I feel like we should talk about that more. So I know we've done a lot of little research. I said a lot of little research. What's self-sabotaging? What are y'all hearing in the self-sabotaging streets?
Something that stuck out to me, and now that I think about, some of the things that I have on my list, is that you brought up that self-sabotage is behaviors and then the thought patterns. And so I think to, make this podcast a little bit more digestible, we should, break it down. Like, what are the behaviors and then what are those thought patterns? And because it is a big difference in, that self-sabotaging.
Sorry, guys.
Okay. I could get into a couple of the behaviors. Leo. Okay, I can get into a couple of the behaviors. So, and that's a great point that you brought that up, to separate the behaviors from the thought patterns. So some of the behaviors is, and this is one that I have dealt with because, just that getting overwhelmed. Oh, let me just get into it. Okay, so some of the common self-sabotaging behaviors include procrastination, perfectionism. I don't know what they meant by relationships. No. These are not behaviors. These are behaviors mixed with, these are the things that it involves. So self-sabotaging involves. So let me stick to the behaviors and then I'll come back to the things it can involve. So procrastination, perfectionism, self-medication, which i.e. drugs or alcohol, comfort eating, and then self-injury, imposing injury to yourself. Those are a few of the self-sabotaging behaviors, the most common.
I'm just
Somebody
for 2 for 5 there. It definitely comes to for me, definitely comes down to procrastination and perfectionism. And I think that kind of aligns with just overthinking. I remember in another podcast, Jazz, you were talking about how we have to, you know, be able to make decisions faster. Give us self a certain amount of time to actually make a decision, because you could be contemplating on something for years, but until you actually make it, we're not able to move. There's something someone posted, and they were just saying, if it's not published, if you're not publishing something, if you're not putting out something, how are you going to be able to make it better? How are you going to be able to fix it? How are you going to be able to do it? So I know, like, a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to put this out. It's not ready. I don't know how to do this. Well, once you start actually doing it, then you could figure that out or make the tweaks needed to along the way. But if you're just if you don't do anything, you're just in the same place you were last year or 3 years ago. And I mean, I've definitely been there. But I'm wondering, like, what that actually roots from.
Girl, I think it kind of well, for me, I can only speak from personal experience, is I think it goes with I think for me, the perfectionism leads to procrastination. And so I'm trying to make it perfect. I'm trying to find the perfect deal. I'm trying to find the perfect opportunity. I'm trying to find the perfectness. And one thing we have to realize, that nothing is going to be perfect. Like, there's always going to be a better deal. There's always going to be you could have did this a little bit better. You always could have, Leo. Hush, boy. Okay, sorry. He want to get on the podcast. He trying to be featured. Okay, but no, but seriously though, and so that it just, when you get all these thoughts of perfectionism, I'm gonna keep this real short because he's tripping right now. But when you get over that perfectionism, then it allows you to just make that quick decision. And one thing I know for me, I'm like, I don't want to make the wrong decision. But once we know that, we can always go back and correct it. There's not like you made the decision and it's the end. Okay, I'm gonna just stop right there.
Right. And if it is a wrong decision, at least you could make that wrong decision fast and turn it around. And, I am a big proponent of waiting, but that comes with waiting and working at the same time. So, like, you might be waiting. I always bring up this apartment, but I waited so long for this apartment specifically. But while I was waiting, I was stacking my money. I was paying off my debt. Got a new job. And so in the preparation for waiting for that perfect thing, which is, like you were saying, perfection is the only thing that's perfect is Jesus Christ. So nothing else is perfect. And so if we're waiting for perfectionism, you'll be waiting for a long time. So if you are like waiting for something, I would say wait with action. But if you're trying to make a decision on something, make it, and then you'll be able to, you could change your mind. That's the cool thing. You could change your mind. And if something doesn't work, then you could just do better next time. And so I think I want us to grill that in our heads so we can actually create the life that you want, because nobody who is like amazing or spectacular is safe. We have to like take some type of risk or something like that.
Yeah. And I think for me, it boils down to just the self-discipline, being able to say, okay, these are the tasks that need to be done. And I'm going to be disciplined enough to do these things and to get them done. That is my theme. My theme for the upcoming, months is, okay, self-discipline. I am focusing on that. I'm setting my intentions with being disciplined.
So true. On Psychology Today was saying, why do I always procrastinate? They said people procrastinate on tasks that in some way evoke anxiety or distress. Putting the task off always off allows people to avoid those negative emotions, even if it also prevents them from accomplishing long-term goals that would bring happiness and fulfillment. Distractions like social media or setting vague deadlines, like I'll get to that next week, also fuels procrastination. And I think this is absolutely true. Avoidance is something that we all do to protect ourselves and don't want to feel a certain type of way. But I think the reason why self sabotage gets a lot of us, it was saying this in another article in Psychology Today, is because it's long term. If we don't if we don't eat right today and we gain 100 pounds at the end of the year, we don't wait. This is kind of going the wrong way, but it's just because we don't see that it's gonna hurt us. But on the other shoe, it's just like if we don't set up a system we need in place to help our business grow, we don't realize that in a year our business is going to be in the same space, because we know these little changes that we have to make that we're not doing because we're self-sabotaging. It's a long-term effect is really what's going to mess us up, as opposed to if I don't pack today, like if you're going on a trip tomorrow, if I don't pack today or if I don't pack in the morning, I won't have anything to pack. So you're pushed to, I got to pack because I have to go on a trip tomorrow. As if the trip is 100 days from now, you're not thinking about it. But it's just like it's so far off, and so like a lot of our goals are so far away that we're not realizing like what we're doing right now is self-sabotaging for something in the future.
In the future. That's good. That is really good.
Yes.
I get that. Like if I miss work tomorrow, like I know my paycheck is gonna be messed up. Like that's something we can see. It's like, no, I can't miss work. I can't miss this because, it's gonna affect, my money. I'm not gonna be able to pay my bills. I'm not gonna be able to do this. But we're not thinking about, if I miss that gym, if I miss that workout, if I don't do this task, then my business is not gonna be able to make money. If I don't respond to these emails or do these things, then that's gonna affect, me not opportunities coming my way. That's good.
That's gonna cause me to have regret in the future because I didn't really put forth the effort. Oh, that's a whole word. Yeah.
Wow.
So, and we have to though, because our life really depends on it. These are our prime years, y'all. These are our prime years. And so and I was just thinking, like, because I watched the Def Jam 25th comedy reunion, and it was like when they did the flashbacks to all the people, the comedians that were in the room, and it was just like, look how hard they were going in their prime, like so that they can really sit back and like really just soak in all the acclimates, and just not even just the acclimate, but they can really. And it was funny because they would make a joke about themselves, like when they would see themselves on screen, because it was just like, mind blowing in a sense. And so it's just like, what are we doing right now with this youthful hood that we have? Like, how are we pushing it? How are we giving it our all? How are we like really just blowing up? And it's like, and even to go back to Kobe, like, if you like, youthful hood is a long range. Like, it's not just if you in your 20s, are you in your 40s? If you got good health, you got eyes, all your functioning limbs where you can go out here and get it, then you are in your youthful hood. Like, so how are we capitalizing, and how are we using and not self-sabotaging to the point to where we can't make it to our achieved dreams? That's yeah, that's hit hard. That just hit me hard, and it's just like, okay.
Same.
Yeah, and one of the things they were saying on Psychology Today was to combat this is to really look at the behaviors that you're doing today. Like, like what are to see, like, is the behaviors that you're doing right now or you're doing every day align with what your goals are? And I'm thinking about yesterday. I did two things. I was working, but I did two things, but it didn't align to my, my long-term goals. Um, and so I think we should really think about that as well. Um, and so they had this little quiz that I think we could go over a little of these. Hold on, let me make sure. Yeah, okay. So I'm just gonna read out a few and let me know if you guys can relate. So sabotaging habits related to how you approach change. Okay. You expect yourself to succeed in making life changes without designating any time or mental space to accomplish them. How do y'all feel about that?
Read it one more time for me.
You expect yourself to succeed in making life changes without designating any time or mental space to accomplish them.
Mm-hmm. I think that kind of goes with, procrastinating in a sense. Like, maybe I may be making mental time, but am I making physical time for it? Like, or maybe I'm making physical time, but am I making the mental time? So I can relate. Like, I feel like sometimes I'm on, and then sometimes I'm just in one of my moods. But one thing I did learn to combat this on yesterday, and I don't even want to drop the book because I know somebody it's by Napoleon Hill. It's called How to Sell Your Way Through Life. And so in the book he talked about, if you are not a persistent, motivated person, like, or he probably didn't even say that, it was another word, but he was saying the way you can combat your down seasons, your down times, is creating a team of and having a member on that team that's just like a robot on some stuff that can like keep you in check or be that support that you need, or be that fire that you need on the time to make stuff happen. So you don't have that lag. And if you do have the lag, it's not lagging for weeks, months, and so forth and so on. So I do think that can help because life happens to us all. But if you have somebody, either you're paying them to keep you in check, or they're there because they have this one track mind, and maybe that's a skill set that they have. And so that I think that's what's going to work for me. Some people just naturally willed it and they can do it 365. Me, I'm not gonna lie, I get overwhelmed sometimes, and I just like I need a little unplug, a vacay, a hiatus. But I can't, if I'm trying to build something for generations, I can't have that hiatus like that. So
Totally agree. Yeah, I think I think I could speak for all of us when we say we don't expect to succeed without designating time, but you just don't designate time sometimes
Yeah,
of life.
exactly. And that's why I feel like the self-discipline is the key for me, because I feel like if I am disciplined enough, across the board. So if I am disciplined enough to wake up and get out the bed and make my bed in the morning, then I can be, it's possible for me to be disciplined enough to get up and, get a workout done, to get up and, do whatever task I need to do to hit a goal. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And there was
but then that's why I just feel that's where accountability partners come in. Like, and maybe you might need accountability that could be from your spouse or your and in this workbook, I don't remember, he was like, even it could be like have your mom call you to check you. And it's like sometimes it can get a little tricky when it's your loved one, but like having just different people call you and check you until that habit is instilled and ingrained in you. Because it's like we go to school because we need a teacher to teach us things. We go to a mechanic because we need them, or a doctor because we need them. So it's like sometimes when we're early in our walk, we might need somebody to whip us into shape so that we don't fall off.
Wow, that's a really great way to put it, because I never thought about that. We do put so much on ourselves, but we don't realize that in everything else we had guidance. We had parents growing up. We had guidance from teachers. We had tutoring. We had I went tutoring in college, mentors, all these different things. But sometimes when we're trying to like create something, because it just depends on what your characteristic is. Like for my brother, I could tell you straight up, he did that by himself with God. But for someone like me who is very step by step, instruction by instruction, um, by the book type of person, I need a guidance person to keep me in check. Um, make sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. So that's interesting. Whew.
Yeah, it's like knowing your personality. Everybody might not need that, but
Right.
if you do need that, it's like we might have to humble ourselves down to understand that I might need a little help, and it's okay. It's like we get to adulthood and think that we're adults, so we're supposed to have it all figured out. But sometimes being an adult is knowing that you do need help, and it's okay to seek help for whatever that may be.
So true, so true. It's just like for me, I was talking to my friend about this. We're like, look, it's easy for me to get work done for my job, for my black market. I don't miss
For
it.
other people,
I don't miss a day. What?
girl, me either. I be going to work, going ham, going hard for the company, going so hard.
Exactly. But when it comes to you, you always give yourself like leeway, like, I worked hard, or I'll do this the next day or tomorrow or whatever. But I'm wondering what's really going to be that change. Is that, and I think for people like us well, who need that accountability, the accountability is like your manager. Your accountability is the person who is paying you. And so when that's all on you, you need someone to be like, we need to do this in order to get here. So another question that they asked in the quiz was, you're too busy chasing cows to build a fence. You're too busy to come up with processes or systems that would help you better manage your time. So I really relate to this. If y'all listen to our Flourishing Morning podcast episode that we had, we talk about creating systems and putting them in place. If you listen to our strategy one with Bird Williams, we also talk about like scheduling time, blocks of times for different things. I have yet to do that. I told myself I'm going to do that. Like I was with my morning schedule, but I didn't block out times for me to work on this, work on that, because my I've been too busy is what I tell myself. I'm too busy working. I'm too busy working for someone else, and I'm too busy giving myself care and to do exactly what I need to do to create the life I want, how my life to look like in a year or in 2 weeks. And so, well, how do you guys we think we could just combat that, being too busy and us giving ourselves those excuses all the time? Because we could be really good for 1, 2, 3 weeks, and then it's just like something comes up and you're back. And it doesn't take you all the way back, but it's hard to get back moving when you stop that momentum and you sit down. And so I guess that is where systems come into place. It doesn't allow you to sit your ass down, because if you sit down, those systems are still moving.
True.
Exactly. And so what's the question? Give me the full question again.
We just asked it just asks how do you relate to this from a scale from 1 to 7.
Mm,
Cows to build the fence.
mm,
Okay.
girl, girl. I think that it's no right or wrong answer, because I'm if I'm being 1,000,000% transparent, it's like that's something that I'm going through right now. I'm struggling with, like you said, like I was hitting it. My 5 a.m. mornings was changing my life. And then a catastrophic event happened, well, which was the car wreck. And then I just was like, oh, my back is in so much pain right now. I can't move. I'm sleepy. I just want to sleep in. Like I'm tired. And then it just spiraled into like sleeping back in and like being super sleepy and just not feeling it, But I'm like, I can't afford to not be feeling it. Like I need to be feeling it. I need to, and it goes back to what Kobe was saying earlier, that self-discipline, that creating that intention. And yes, we can give ourselves grace, but even in the book for the 5 a.m. club, it said like you have to run out of bed, like push yourself, thrust yourself, like don't even give yourself time to hit the snooze. Like soon as you see it, and another cool tip that it said, buy one of those old school alarm clocks. So where you can set it 30 minutes back so that it looks like when you see the clock, you waking up at 5:30, but it's really you tricking yourself. It's 5 o'clock. And so I was like, okay. So that's just like using little tips and tricks like that. And I would say the Nike saying like, just do it. Like literally do it. Like it's really, it could all be so simple, but of course, life, emotions, being tired, all these things these variables, they do play on like, just do it. Like, yeah, you tell me to just do it, but I just did A, B, C, a million things. So it probably comes to when creating that system, finding a true, I don't want to say a balance, because it ain't gonna really ever be balanced. It's no such thing as balance. Balancing it out for you in a sense, but mainly finding a way. We have to find a way. That's really all there is to it. There's no easier way. Like, because I'm reading in all these books, like we have to find a way. That's the only way. It's no cookie cutter approach. It's no perfect. It's not easier. It's just we have to do it. We have to do it and be consistent. That's really what it is. And so one thing I did find out from the 5 a.m. book is we don't want to give ourselves 21 days. The real days, the amount of days to ingrain a habit is 66 days. I was like, I have been lied to. I'm thinking it's 21. They like, no, once we reach that 66 day point, it really becomes embedded in your soul. So finding a way, and of course, every day is not going to be perfect, but if you can get as close to your goal versus being like doing what I did, like, oh, I'm 30 minutes off. Instead of take that 30 minutes and go with it. Don't say, oh, I'm 30 minutes, so I can just rest the entire day. that's right. Don't do that. And then that creates this psychology, like, okay, it's not that important to me. And so we don't want to do that. And then before we know it, we restart in the same old cycle over and over again. So we have to break the cycle. It's not going to be cute. It's going to be it's not for the weak. It's not for the weak. That's really, and then systems, I do think, but going back to systems, I think systems now when you say systems, I'm not talking about are we talking about for morning routines, or are we just talking about in general?
In general.
Yeah. So with the systems, I do think systems, they help combat when we feeling down. They help combat when we drain. They help combat when we tired. Like if, and I was thinking of this for my company soon. I need to really start maximizing like the auto post, because I don't like being on social media. But if it was a way I can just automatically post it, then that's taken care of. Or so or payroll systems where I don't have to pay my employees manually. I just on the second and third or whatever dates I choose, not second and third, that's 2 days apart, but the second and the 15th or whatever, the first and the 15th, like if that's the days I choose, putting it on auto, like making as many things as automatic as you possibly can. Because that's what I'm finding, that a lot of people that are owning big businesses, they're taking, this is a good gem, because this will help alleviate a lot of the pressure off of us and allow us to put more time toward the things that we truly want to give time to. So make as many things on automate as many things as we possibly can in our life. Like, it's okay to take your hands off. If there's a way to automate it, automated. Like automated makes your life so much easier. Like automate things from bill pay, automate things from you name it, whatever it is you can automate, like find a way to automate it. And that will free up some of your brain power so that you can have energy to execute in other areas of your life. So
automation is so important.
I agree.
Especially bills.
Yeah. I think you have to ask yourself that question of because to me what it's sounding like is like a disorganization, right? Is what causes people to self-sabotage. And you have to ask yourself, okay, why am I disorganized? Is it because of how I'm managing my time? Or is it because I'm just feeling overwhelmed with all the duties and the things that I have to do? If you figure out which one it is, then if it's how you're managing your time, then okay, set up your day to where you can be most productive. Maybe you need to put that workout in the morning versus in the evening because it's messing up when you eat dinner and being with your family and doing all of that, those other things. Just rearranging those tasks to make things where you're more efficient and where it makes sense. Now, if you feel like you're overwhelmed because, it's just too many tasks, you're juggling too many things, maybe you need to ask for help. Maybe it's a situation where you're saying, okay, you need to ask your spouse, hey, can you pick up the kids while I go do this? Or, can we have switch on days? Whatever it is, pinpointing what it is that's preventing you from being able to do that thing and, creating solutions for them.
That's so good, Kobe.
And it's going to take time. And that's the thing. It's going to take time because this organization is like, that's huge, that's big, and it's going to take time. So being patient with yourself to figure out that system that is going to work for you.
And that's good that you said that. So it's better to sacrifice the time it takes creating and tweaking and perfecting your system versus just continuing on with disorganization and finding yourself still in that same place. But I say we owe it to ourselves to fine tune our system, to create one, to implement something so that it can work. You can have something to work the kinks out so that it can get as automated as it possibly can. But just keeping in mind that it won't be a perfect system tomorrow, but like the fact that you putting something out there and you getting it rolling to the point where you can work the kinks out over time, and then eventually it'll be just like clockwork.
Very true. So I think we should give ourselves and our soulmates homework so we can keep ourselves accountable. So before we get into our soul, what fed our soul this week, we gonna make sure we did our homework. So soulmates, take out a pen and paper. Jasmine and Kobe, you remember this? You create a system, pinpoint one thing in your life that you are always disorganized with doing, but you really want to do. And then see what the problem is, what's stopping you from doing that. Create a system before the next podcast is released, which is going to be Tuesday. Whatever Tuesday you listen to, or a week from now, from whatever Tuesday you listen, or whatever day you listening to this, we got a system change, and we want you to Instagram us, tweet us, DM us, share what system that you created, so we could keep ourselves accountable for that. Well, at least we'll have one system in place by a week from now.
Yes.
Yeah, girl. Yes. I think I got mine already. I don't want to tell you because I don't want to be held accountable. So I'm gonna tell y'all so I can be held accountable. Now I'm gonna tell y'all on the thing when it's done. Okay.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Don't talk about it. Be about it.
Silence. Just kidding. You will be real loud talking about I want silence.
Okay.
I think that would be really good.
I wrote it down in blue ink, so it's coming true.
Yes, it is.
All right. We didn't even do the mindset, but I don't know. We got time.
We got time. But what did you want to say about mindset?
I was gonna let one of y'all say something about mindset, but no. One thing I do want to talk about, and it's real short and sweet, with self-sabotaging behavior and the mindset. One self-sabotaging behavior that is not talked about often when you talk about self-sabotage, I think it should be brought up, and it's the self-fulfilling prophecies. What happened? Tiffany laughing. I don't know what happened.
I spill water all over myself. I don't know.
Oh, I ain't even see it. No, but self-fulfilling prophecies. And basically what a self-fulfilling prophecy is when you put out an expectation toward a certain thing. Most times it's a negative expectation. It will then manifest. So i.e., if you think you never gonna get that job, or nobody's hiring, or all men cheat, or I'm never gonna get in a good relationship, or my dream that's way above me, or things like that, it will come true. And this is I truly believe a way of self-sabotage, because we're not even allowing ourselves to flourish before we write ourselves off or feel like we automatically showing and displaying that we're not adequate enough. So one way, just to sum everything all up, is to combat the self-fulfilling prophecy and I got this from, I want to say, this may have been from Psychology Today or either the entrepreneur.com. And basically it says, beware of the self-fulfilling prophecy. We have to attempt to have positive expectations when it's related to work, family, and life in general. Think about yourself in a positive manner and attempt to be optimistic. So I know a lot of people out here be like, I'm a realist. I'm a this, I'm a that. Well, your ass need to become more optimistic. I'm serious. Like, we have to thrive, because it's like your life depends on it. It's like that's the only way we achieve those above, out the park, crazy, what seems crazy to the public realities, is by having that optimistic swing, that faith that no one else can even truly believe. But that optimism, I think, is truly one of the fuels that catapults you. Just believing that you can will thrust you into actually doing it. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So we want more positive self-fulfilling prophecies, not the ones that's pulling us back and sabotaging us and keeping us in the same place. So and another tip, it says avoid using absolute words like never, like I never get this good job, or they never treat Black people right, or they always killing us. So the three words are always, never, and cannot. So we got to eliminate those words, because I find myself using them just in normal rhetoric, because that's what we've been conditioned. So we have to uncondition and unroot those words, especially when it pertains to things we want to manifest.
I think that's great, because what we think about ourselves will dictate what we actually do in our lives. So if you don't think that you can do something, then you're not going to take the actions to do it. But if you don't think like I can't create this system because I'm too busy doing this. This is something I tell myself often. Like, I don't have time to create a system. I need to do this. I need to chase these cows. I need to bring them all in, but I don't have something to contain them. So now it's just like, no, I do have time for this. I do have time to create a system. I just need to do it. And so now it's like, oh, I do have time. Let me do it. And so just think about the things that you've been telling yourself. Have you been telling yourself that you've been eating unhealthy for too long, so you can't eat healthy no more? You can't go back to something. No, you can. You're a human, and we have capabilities to do amazing things. And so it just goes back to the Bible. It's just like you can speak things into existence, but you have to think them first, right? So what are you thinking about yourself? And pinpoint those things, change it, change that dialect, that dialogue in your mind to say, wait, I can do this. And I really like that you brought up the thing with the never and the always and stuff like that, because I do hear it a lot, especially like in the Black community. And I know we go through a lot, but we cannot let that be our sorry, our excuse. I've heard, you know how they treat the Black men. You know, don't, I don't want you, but then, oh, I'm not going to put it because I, but then backdoor. But I'm just saying,
Yeah, because that in and of itself is a self-fulfilling prophecy. We're prophesying over our community, like, oh, they always treat us bad, or they never gonna give us equal rights, or we never gonna get justice, or never always, like, we cannot. It's like, we gotta. I understand this is what we see. The facts are facts. It's real. It is real. I'm not gonna ever deny that, but we can't keep prophesying that over our situation.
So
if
true.
we want change.
So true, because while something could be true, something else could be true. While somebody can be held back by the system, someone is using the system for their advantage. While some people can't come together, there's a whole other people that are coming together, because it just depends on what you believe. I always try to believe in the positive, but this is something just like a reminder for ourselves, because you have to remind yourself of who you are, and what you're capable of doing. And this is our reminder and our reminder to you guys, so we could stop self-sabotaging and continue creating the lives that we have, because I know y'all created some dope ones, but let's get doper.
Yes. Alrighty, guys. So what time is it? It's affirmation time. It's affirmation time. It's affirmation time. Y'all, if this is your first time tuning in on the Soul Feeling Podcast, we always end our podcast with a positive affirmation. So what the heck is an affirmation? An affirmation is any statement that you are using to transform your life. Either you're transforming your life for the good, or you transform your life for the demise. Even in the Bible, it states, let the weak say, I am strong. Keyword is say. So on those days where you feeling sick and tired, down and out, broke, like procrastination is your best friend, don't affirm these things over your life. Instead, speak positive things in your life. Speak uplifting things. Speak things that just shows that you're going to overcome out of this situation. Now, no, you may not believe it at first, but the more you say it, the more your brain will begin to receive it. So I'm affirming, well, there's 3 of us on the call, and I'm affirming that there are millions, billions, trillions, generations to come out here tuned in to the Soul Feeling Podcast. And we're going to go ahead and end this thing off with our positive affirmations. So who wants to go first?
I'll go. I am creating systems in my life that will allow me to fulfill my greatest potential.
Ooh, I second that. I am using my... Oh, no,
go for it. Go. You can go, because I have something to say after.
Okay. I am using my time wisely to make positive change in my life.
One thing I want to say before we leave is just about just that inner critic and just that negative voice, and how sometimes we can compare ourselves to our old self, maybe something we did in the past, comparing ourselves to others, So with that being said, I want this affirmation to be about that inner critic, So I am speaking positive truth into myself.
So you can't be bringing us to speak on it, but that's so true, Jasmine. We do, man. Sometimes our past self, though, we really be like, dang, like she was popping, but also
exactly, yeah.
You like mad at yourself because you didn't continue to do something that she did in the past, and that's another sometimes you don't even start to do that because you know that you stopped doing it. Why telling yourself that, inner critiquing yourself, well, you stopped before, why you think you're gonna do it again? You just keep stopping. Okay, this is what I'm telling. That's what I tell myself.
Yourself up, yeah.
So you're right. We have to. What was your affirmation again?
My inner critic is, I'm just speaking positivity into myself. So just turning that inner critic into an inner positive, like,
motivators.
Yes.
And I think we need that, because I think Yeah, we really need that. It's okay. It's okay. We should use it as a, oh, you did that before, you could do it again. But now I know this to be able to continue to move forward and be consistent. So
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
I
good.
need to hear that. Thanks. So
Yeah.
thanks, guys, for listening to Soul Filling Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. That's Soul Filling Podcast everywhere. That's SOUL space FILLING. And if you are listening to us on Spotify, Google, y'all, we on YouTube, uh, unedited on YouTube if you want to see the and we're on Apple Podcasts as well. If you are listening to our Apple Podcast, we would really appreciate it if you leave a 5-star rating and write something simple and sweet. That really helps us get up and up on the rankings, and we would really love that. And of course, feel free, soulmates. I see you hopping in our DMs. I see you posting, and we really appreciate it. We love talking to you guys. So,
Yes.
in the love and thank you for reaching out. We'll talk to you next week. We love you so much.
We love y'all. Until next time, soulmates. Bye.